Good morning. It is morning. I don't think I've been to bed yet. Let me see. It's Thursday. How are we all? I hope you're fine. I do miss doing more videos, but there are just so many things going on. But it looks like things are clearing, and I'll have some chance to spend more time with you over these videos and your questions and help working yourself down the road there. I know there's a lot of good YouTubers there that are doing that. Facebook has a lot of channels there that can help you as well. You know, understanding the simplicity of it all. Some people might get the idea that we're oversimplistic. I tell you, it is years of intellectualism and academics that that finally brings you into simplicity. You know, you almost go down a road and burn out before you let it go. And that's what happened to me. That's why I talk a lot about the mind versus spirituality a lot. The difference between you as soul and the mind that you use to create an experience in creation. And there's a big difference. When you rely on the mind, you're not relying on truth. You're relying on an instrument, a functionable instrument that, like a computer, it's all how it's programmed. It is linked to a universal mind, no question, where we all can tap in and communicate universally, mentally. You see that all the time. So to understand some of those things like that. So I appreciate all your questions, and I know a lot of you are working yourself through these things. Sometimes if you have blood works that go up and down, just remember that when you're detoxifying, and it's a good example, if you have someone that has a lot of lymphatic problems in the liver, gallbladder, and you start detoxifying them, their liver enzymes could go up. And it's not that you're breaking down their liver, it's just you're exposing what's there. And this is what people have to learn about detoxification. It's simply exposing what's there. And unfortunately, some people they don't like to see what's there. They don't like to know what's there. Hence, we have a president in another 4 years of the same thing. So we have the same thing going on. Same thing. People are asleep. They're so sick that people can lie to them and they believe it. They don't expand their ability to think. And that's why we're in the way we are. And that's why I think this is so important for all aspects of life, but particularly for the human race here on this planet. If the humans don't get their acts together, it is going to be an extremely bumpy road. And it already is, especially in their health issues, which is connected right into the spirituality of it all. And for this level to ever have any degree of harmony, a balance must be achieved between the positive and negative forces. Right now, the negative forces have gotten themselves out of balance. Notice the intellectualism and narcissism that exist right now. And it's unbelievable. And you can see that everywhere. And love is on the bottom of the rung. So a lot of people look at the changes in December, maybe the planets lining up, there could be catastrophes everywhere, or it could be a spiritual renaissance. Well, if you look around, it'll be a spiritual renaissance because that's why you're all here. If you'll notice, a lot of you are awakening up, and you must realize that most of you that come to this channel are spiritual beings. And you all are spiritual beings. All humans are souls using human bodies to experience. That there are those that are becoming more aware of that fact, which broadens their scope of understanding, and they start seeing more things and understanding more things than general humans that are lost in their dramas. And, you know, the mind and the emotions can be well controlled by governments and other people and turn people or humans into herd animals. And if you look at most humans, they're herd animals. They're locked into the social consciousness. So things like socialism or the Obama thinking is just what's good. Take from the rich, give to the poor, things like this. So this is part of the problem. Individual responsibility, individuality is lost for socialism, for societies. And societies must survive, there's no question. And nature can be real exacting and as beautiful as it is violent. So one has to have a spiritual understanding of themselves to survive it all and still keep your joy and happiness. Because getting involved in the mind and emotions and desires will take you down a road of misery a lot of times. You feel the happiest when you feel the most free, don't you? When you feel free, you're the most happiest. It's nice to see things and want things and pull things in, but then you start suffocating from your own desires, because everything you have is part of the clutter of materiality that exists and holds people down. So humans have to get with this, or the human race is really on a bumpy road. And so thanks to all you beautiful souls, the golden children coming in here, and that's been my thing all this time, that we are, higher souls are definitely coming to this planet in very sick bodies. Thank God for all your moms and raw foodists that are being a vehicle for these higher souls, and knowing that we will move their bodies into a much higher level than they would have been anyway, and therefore will have some very high understandings of God and love and harmony and things like that, and this is what we need to perpetuate. So hopefully all that will come down here, but it is what it's going to be, and that's how you have to look at that. Always taking care to take care of yourself, to always seek to understand the biggest part of yourself that you can, letting go of those things that lock you into control and power and egotism and backbiting and all this sort of thing. Enjoying the beauty of freedom. And that's what this country was based upon. America was based upon the freedom. It's a republic. As John Adams said, is if you can keep it. And if you look, all the humans that have been presidents and things, most of them have tried to get rid of the republic. They're trying to right now. That's the current administration would like to get rid of the republic. And that's where freedom is. I thought America was a great example to the world for a while until narcissism came in. And this is why spiritual people are essential to this planet. Higher souls are essential, especially in these higher offices, and those are the souls that don't want to do it. But we need people that can bring people together and bring the love out of people. That's who needs to be in governmental positions. People that unite. We have a government that is whipping the citizens, taxing them, overtaxing them, burdening them, whipping those, and then those that can't do anything, they're hooking them to government assistance. It's just a nightmare. And I see that in a lot of other countries. You guys are suffering all around the world with the same kind of thinking. Spend more, tax more. And you just look around the world and you see where that happens. So hope that everything works out for the humans here. So let's go into some of these. I don't mean to be a political thing by any sorts, but understanding the mind and narcissism and what's going on. And none of you should ever feel that you need some kind of medical degree or medical understanding to help people be healthy. The simplicity of it all is shameful in the sight of intellectualism. The simplicity of getting well should be accepted with open arms instead of trying to hang on to academics and that, because when you do, we see this all the time. It's difficult when people come and they ask me, what about this machine? What about that thing? What about this? The mind comes in and everybody's trying to treat cancer or treat something that's hurting them bad, and how can we get in and kill it? And these are all illusionary concepts that keep you in that kind of thinking and keep you wrapped up in that. Even when you see factors in your blood work going up and down, enzymes and antigens and things like this, you're always going to have a movement of this. Always know, though, that when you're on a raw food diet, you are at the top of the diet chain with the other animals. We are way out in left field and eating foods that are not even harmonious to us, creating sewage in our bowels that make us stink to high heaven, acidifying our body so bad that we're mutating our cells at an alarming rate. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's still sucking down milk products way after you're weaned, and from other animals. I mean, this is not a pretty picture of what the state of human existence right now and the level of their dietary habits. Gross, to say the very least. So we have to get back. And we had a little meeting this morning. We were talking about that. And I said, I want you to realize that when we say go on a great fast, we're not putting you on a fast. We're putting you on a tropical diet. We're putting you on a fruit diet. We're not putting you on a fast. Fasting is truly water or dry fasting. That's fasting. So when you say, give me 40-day grape fast, I'm bad at saying that. But in reality, give me 40 days of just eating grapes. You're not fasting. You got plenty of food, plenty of nutrition, plenty of magnetics. And then, of course, you keep in mind, guys, those of you who are healing others, those herbs they're on are full of nutrition. We don't cook them. We don't destroy them. We try to give you as much of the whole herb as we can, because the power is in the whole, not in the pieces. That's why we work better together as a team than we do one person out there in the wilderness fighting. And that's how it's been for years. One person, one little light bulb way out there in the darkness, one way out there in the darkness. All these beautiful souls that have been struggling to help man get well, that's been criticized. Jensen, the SEBI guy, the CBI guy, I take it he is. Read his stuff, pathologist, again, bringing in too much pathology into the picture, but certainly important to understand frequencies and magnetics, and of course what happens when we start augmenting our foods and changing their nature, you know. And this is what's happening, you know. It's hard to get well on the foods here, particularly in this country. I've heard so many of you talk about the grapefruits of Spain and Indonesia and Costa Rica and Mexico, and of course Guatemala is some good food. I love Guatemalan watermelons, and so around all these islands there's just great food. And I want the islands to start realizing this is where man's health is. They're instrumental in helping man to acquire this, and I'm hoping that as we get bigger and the understanding of the need for fruit come in, the importance of islands and the importance of their ability to grow fruit for the world is important, and then of bringing the pyramid greenhouses. I love that. So let's get some of these questions going here. One was about, what about bipolar disorder? Is it possible to cure with fasting and fruits diet? You know what? Going after a glandular problem, which is what bipolar is, going into an adrenal, which is the emotional component to that, the anxiety component to that, and the depressive side of that, which is the parathyroid and thyroid gland. Generally, suppression of any tissue is one, genetics. To the lymph system. If you look at and going back and you ask questions like, okay, I've got a genetic weakness in my thyroid, how did I get that? Well, my mom had it. All right, how did she get it? Well, her grandmother had it. If you keep tracing it back, you'll find that it's always been about the diet. It's always been about chemistry and physics, because everything in this planet is based upon chemistry and physics in motion and in relationship to each other, creating magnetics. It's all about all that, no question. So it's important to understand that the diets of man, the cooked and the dead, we're replacing to the live. But is it enough? Good question. I feel it isn't. I don't even feel the herbs in some people are enough, because it's too slow, and we have extremely chronic cases, and that's why the glandulars. So in a case like that, I would definitely get in and look at that case. The value, I want you guys to start thinking about that questionnaire that we have for people. And look at that. And use that on yourself, use it on your clients, put your name up there, I don't care. But use those questions so you can look at your case or the cases you're working on, and you'll get an idea what's thyroid, what's pituitary, what's adrenals. The more difficult is linking the endocrine gland weakness to the pituitary. And that in a female is easier when you look at their menstrual cycles to see if they're on time or they're bleeding heavy. That could be very much a pituitary problem. In men, it's more difficult. That's why the value of iridology cannot be underestimated, because you can see right there. And that goes a long way at being able to help them in the right way. So there's a lot to that. Level 2, we're going to have some fun, because level 2 is going to be a lot of this. A lot of protocols, what do you do, things like this. It's going to be a relaxed environment, and we're going to tear up these protocols, because then the bottom of the day, or the end of the day, the bottom line is, how do you get someone from their current state to Wellville? And it is ups and downs for people, no question. You guys are seeing it in yourself. There's ups, there's downs, there's sideways, and there's backwards. But you know what? As long as you keep driving your car down that highway to Wellville, as long as you keep using raw foods, as long as you keep using the herbs to get in and to accelerate kidney repair, kidney filtering, getting the adrenals up, getting the bowels cleaned out, it's all good. It's all fun. It's all good. And you feel really good getting there. However, there are those that are extreme pain. I'll give an example, arthritis. Sometimes it's much easier to remove a tumor out of somebody than it is to get this chronic acidosis problem that they call arthritis out of you. Because it's chronic. It's years of stagnant lymph. And it could be, a year to get it out or more. So we can't get frustrated because we do have the answers. It does require self-discipline because our brains have been, shall we say, brainwashed through all these years of thinking this is good, that's good, all these things like that. And so, I'll just show you a case, just for an example. We have tons of cancer cases, but one in particular, a nice lady, and lymph system is the worst I've ever seen. Thick lymph. So she, I guess she got thinking ours wasn't strong enough, so she went to another practitioner in California, and he said, oh, you need to be on proteins. Now, this is a naturopath, I take it. You need to be on beans. So he put her on beans, and she felt a little better. And I said, of course you're going to feel a little better. That wasn't the problem. I can deal with some beans and change that and work that around for her. But that wasn't what she did to herself that hurt so bad. What he did was recommend 18 capsules of colostrum a day. You don't ever do colostrum. And this is the problem with reading and accepting out there all these companies that tout these things like colostrum as being the greatest immune enhancer in the world. I want you guys to stop and think. When you're talking about enhancing the immune system, do you really know what that means? That's real important to understand the whys and how simple the body's designed, because it's important to, when someone says you have to enhance the immune system, mostly these people don't have a clue to what they're talking about. They think immune cells. They want to enhance the immune cells. Well, you've got a whole bunch of immune cells. You've got your NK cells. Those are your natural killer cells. Those are your Bs and your Ts. Bone marrow cells, white blood cells that go to the thymus gland. You've got the T's and the B's. Those are the big boys. Then you have your general leukocytes, and you have your neutrophils, basophils. You got all kinds of immune cells. And then your hungry boys, which is your macrophages. Those are the ones in the lymph nodes. They break down other cells. The cells around the cells, the immune cells around the cells, are just general white blood cells, lymphocytes, and etc. The macrophages are the hungry ones. But what are we trying to do by enhancing those cells? You really can't. You have to enhance bone marrow if you're going to enhance immune cells. But most people have adequate immune cells. That's not the problem. What is the problem? It's the lymph system. When you have an obstruction to the flow of energy, you can't be thinking, well, I need to add more particles or more issues within that which is obstructed. In other words, you've got a sewer system that's backed up. By trying to enhance bone marrow and immune cells, if that's even possible, in terms of using mushrooms and things like that, you still have the blockage. And you'll never get well doing that, and you'll waste your time. And colostrum creates extreme lymphatic congestion. So now she got a lot worse. So now it's like you didn't have the respect to ask your primary. Who cares if you go to someone else, but you should ask. Particularly when you're asked to do or take some supplements, you need to know about these. And the problem is people are generally trusting people, and they trust what people say. And I appreciate you guys trusting what I say, but I want you to put it to the test. I want you to test it on yourself so you know firsthand. You don't accept someone's word for something. I had an Amish lady one time. She had a massive tumor on her chest here. And I can't remember if she pulled it with Black Sabbath. I think she did. And then came to me because she had took shark cartilage. And shark cartilage, what I've seen, makes the tumors grow to the bones. You never want a tumor to grow to a bone. But, that was, they tout that cartilages isolate tumors. You don't want to isolate a tumor, because a tumor is just a pocket of fluid, which is acid lymph fluid, that's being stored temporarily until the obstruction is removed, if indeed it ever is. Or medical doctors come in and remove the pocket, the storage pocket, never fixing the blockage in the route, so people grow them again and again and again. So, real important to understand that. And so, we had to send her to Mexico to get some Laetrile to loosen up the tumor so it could come off the bone. Well, she didn't, and she came back, and of course, I didn't realize that when you open up tissue, especially with blocked kidneys, now you've got a kidney. Whenever you pull anything out with a black salve, or you open up a port anywhere, now it is a hole for the body to use to excrete toxins, because the other ways channels are blocked. So it'll use that. I didn't understand that in the earlier days. So she went to a nutritionist up the road, put her on colostrum. Well, I had no idea. She had left me, thought I wasn't fast enough. And she's come running back saying, oh my God, my tumor exploded when I went on this colostrum. It is dairy. And you do not do anything like that when you have tumors. Even the Budwig. I mean, you do not touch dairy products if you want to get rid of tumors and you want to open up obstructions in the lymph system. You are swimming in a pool of acids, and you're jumping into more acids when you do it. And it is the most mucus-forming food on the planet. So there's a lot of companies that tout a lot of things, but in actual practice, that's not what you see. But just understand that if someone says, I want to enhance my immune system so it'll overcome this problem, realize their thinking is off, and that you want to move their thinking back to the simplicity of the sewer system and the blockages that begin to occur in weak kidneys and weak adrenal glands. And that's what you have to fix. You fix that, and now you've removed the obstruction. Now you can start to hydrate that interstitial fluid, which has become very acidic from the blockages, and it takes a while to hydrate this interstitial fluid. That's why you see your urine going alkaline when you first start a raw food diet. If it does, that's a first sign of kidney weakness, because you can't hydrate a highly acidic body by just eating a few fruits and vegetables. No way. It's going to take you a while to get the kidneys, adrenals on. That's why I found the herbs to be the only tools that we really are viable in helping us. And they get sometimes not as fast as we would like, but the human condition is lower than most people even begin to understand. They don't understand how bad we are in the human state in the health issues. And it's just like our president now. We have the same consciousness. We have the same allopathic consciousness. Now we're stuck with a health care that we're forced to do with a killing machine called allopathy. It's all out of balance, and so it's all going to have to get into balance. It'll be interesting, right, to see that happen. So the question as far as bipolar, in terms of fasting and fruits, I wouldn't. I'd go right into the herbs and glandulars and get into my thyroids, my parathyroids, my adrenals, and pull myself out of this. Strengthen my brain, the central nervous system with upper circuit, brain, and nerve at the same time. You want to always, always, always go after why cells have genetically gotten weakened, or how we have created all this inflammation and acidosis in us. And that is going after your lymphatic system. You can clean up your blood any day you want. It's easy. Cleaning up your lymph system will easily clean up your blood. And this is Home Kaplan. Question from Space Pioneer. Yeah. Hope that's out of body travels. What was it? One of these astronauts. Man, he was a very spiritual guy. Got real spiritualized being up in a little bitty capsule away from Earth. And he said, you know, it changes the way you perceive things when you're in this little bitty vehicle, and you see your planet you're used to living on disappearing away from you. And I thought it would. It would really bring you into the sense of aloneness, the sense of self, that all this around us is transient, that the only thing you can count on is the self. Not the ego, not the mind, not the emotions, but the true self. You, consciousness, awareness, undefined, because it's infinite. So that's why we talk about living in the now, because that's the only way you can have perception of you at that level. Not in time. It has to be outside the worlds of time. Time is creation. So, Space Pioneer, let's look at this. Here's my health challenge. About 6 months ago, I noticed episodes of frequent urination, once per hour or more. Whoo. Well, you've got to look at 3 things: bladder, kidneys, prostate. Is this a male? Yeah. Then would resume to a normal a week or so later. This gradually became more frequent and would generally have to urinate every hour on the hour and a half. At night, this would decrease, but would have to still get up to urinate from sleep a couple times a night. After a couple months of this, I noticed some dull pain on my right side, just under the rib cage. A small amount of lower back pain, and also my urine started to become regularly foamy, yellow sometimes, clear sometimes when I urinated a lot, and foam would decrease if I was urinating excessively. It seems like at times my kidneys were not holding the fluids I was ingesting. Some signs of dehydration, dry skin, dry eyes, etc. Absolutely, man. This is all about lack of kidney filtration. You see how that's coming on you? All about kidney filtration and acidosis setting in and dry eyes. This is up in the head. So you know that your lymph is backed up all the way up in your head when you have dry eyes and dry mouths and all this sort of thing like that. So, yeah, man, got to get that moving. Remember the bowels. Clean them up as you would the kidneys. But not really that thirsty. Energy level solid. Also notice frequent urination would decrease while and after working out at the gym. Interesting. Yeah, interesting. I did have a dipstick test, and it did show a 2 on the scale of leaking some protein, etc. It seems like there is a filtration issue here. Absolutely, my friend. I am hopeful that these types of kidney issues, absolutely, all this protein issue, yes, disorders from you, absolutely, go after that, man. Any help and encouragement? Absolutely. How do you feel about acupuncture? I just started. Well, it's a good therapeutic group. I have some great friends that are acupuncturists, so they're great therapeutically. If they add the detox with their acupuncture, they've got a really good practice there, because then they're not only going to have helping people with their symptoms, they're going to give them remedy. And that's what humans need, a remedy to their unhappiness, their dis-ease, their obstructions. And so that's what this does. It gives you remedy, and it empowers you, because it lights you up like a Christmas tree when you start eating living foods, particularly the fruits. And it's just a tropical diet. It'll light you up. Remember I told you about the 96-year-old black woman in here that looked like she was 60, raised only on fruit. Wait a minute. Shouldn't she be dead if fruits was bad for you? 96. And she looks 60. And then I had a 102-year-old black man from the tropics, raised on fruit, 102, getting married for the 5th time. Did need a little help with what I think Mr. Space Pioneer does. But go after that, my friend. Go after your kidneys and the adrenals on top. Get your lymph system moving and filtering through that. Sounds like you got a lot of inflammation. If you want to look at any type of a dipstick, look at a blood work at your creatinine and your BUN and creatinine. Take a look at that and see what that is. And while you have that, do BUN, creatinine, and PSA. Get all 3 of those together and let me know, and I'll show you where you're at. You don't want anything above 1 on your PSA, and you want no more than 0.7 in the creatinine. And these are the kind of symptoms that you can have when the kidneys start getting involved. You could have years of lack of filtration to that point. Like, here's a good point. He talks about dry eyes. This is years of lymph stagnation before you see that happening. So now I think you're seeing your kidneys starting to break down a little bit. It might even residual back to the prostate, lower back's all kidneys. So that you want to fix this up and don't lose your kidneys. I've said this many times before. Most people die from kidney failure, one way or another. You can call it congestive heart failure, heart attack, strokes, you can call it anything you want. Still kidney failure. Leggerway. All right, gallbladder removed. What is this? I recently discovered your YouTube site. I am slowly working through all your videos. Sorry about that. But oh, you're talking about Bucamp the bug is not the problem, the terrain. Absolutely. I just call it culturing medium, but it is all about the terrain. Real smart that you pick that up and know. Absolutely. It has always been about the terrain. Anybody that talks in that way, very spiritual, you know, they understand life a little deeper. They don't blame nature for their problems. They blame man and the concepts and ideologies that he's picked up and has affected his ability to understand truth. Let me see, this person, let me see here. Yeah. I have undergone surgery some months ago now, and I am at a loss to find some intelligent, common sense answers from my own chemical-oriented doctor on the web. So as I am convinced that the situation applies to many in this day and age, I hope that this response not only might enlighten undersigned, but also will help others. All right, let's see what's going on here. About 5 months ago, I was kept awake at night with severe abdominal pains and went to the doctor the next day. She suggested that the pain and vomiting at night was caused by food poisoning and that it would go away soon. Well, she didn't have access to iridology or the knowledge of the lymph and acids, and that you've got something going on there, either in the bowels, liver, pancreas, spleen, something like that. I mean, I haven't read this yet, so we'll see as we go along here, but that's what, you know, you see those sort of things, the cramping, the spasms, things like that. It was still present 24 hours later, no vomiting anymore as I was now completely empty, but still in severe pain. I sought the opinion of another doctor, same practice, and he suggested that it was likely to be a gallbladder attack and to get to the hospital emergency as soon as possible. As this proved to be correct, a 30-millimeter rock had grown in the duct leading to the gallbladder. Well, I would think you'd be a little jaundice, and that would have been one of the first hits. Generally, the gallbladder plane does resonate to the back. And he had a blockage. And that's what pain basically is, not only just from acids, but blockages, of course, and swelling. In fact, it was diagnosed that meant that the gallbladder had become gangrenous due to the lack of blood supply cut by the rock. Now, I now suspect that eventually I had not had gallbladder for the past 10 or maybe even 20 years. Such whilst this had not seemed to cause any pain or problems apart from some allergies evident by itchy arms, but not identified by the medical profession as an allergy. Being 67 years old, I was slowing down, but the medical profession found this to be normal. I was operated on the next morning, keyhole surgery, which is nice. Gallbladder surgery is not fun, and left the hospital some 3 days after feeling much better. A few days later, I made an appointment with my own doctor to order to request the following: an ultrasound for checking for the presence of more liver and kidney stones, a blood check to detect the functionality or lack thereof of the liver. Test returned the following results: no further stones in the kidneys and or liver, small lesion on one of my kidneys. All right, so let's stop right there. Small lesion on one of your kidneys. Where was your problem with, in the beginning, to have a gallstone? It's in your lymph system, isn't it? And you could not even just have a blocked blood supply. Sewage is very gangrenous. Sewage is sewage. Major toxicity, toxemia, sepsis, all this kind of crap. But the problem has been in your kidneys. And see this lesion on your kidneys. See what your creatinine is. Remember, 0.3 to 0.7 is a great reference range. The closer to 0.3, the better. And you'll notice those that are getting healthy, their reference ranges go down way below what current labs. And current LabCorp is crazy. You got one LabCorp saying that your kidney creatinine is normal between 0.7 and 1.5. That's insane, of course. Other labs have 0.3 to 0.9. Okay, I accept that better. But by the time you have 0.9 creatinine, you're in trouble. You're losing your kidneys. And anytime you start seeing it climbing above 0.6, you're starting to lose your kidneys. And you can have filtration problems, just like you said here. No pain for years, didn't even know you were forming it. That's the issue. And that's the point, and he gives up a good point here, by the time you become aware of something, it's generally chronic. Remember, Jensen used to talk about this, iridology talks about this, pain generally happens twice. Not only when you're creating it and when you're eliminating it, that is a fact. But remember we talked about the 4 stages of dis-ease. Call it whatever you want. In iridology, there's 4 stages of toxicity. There's the acute, there's the subacute, there's the chronic, and there's the degenerative. Well, we know what the degenerative is because that's what his gallbladder was at. Chronic generally don't feel any pain. Arthritis, yeah. Subacute, no pain. Acute, pain. So generally when you're creating it, pain, and you lose the sensation, especially medically when you use chemicals to suppress, you lose the sensation, oh, we took care of that guy, good. The illusion of medical thinking. The pain comes back in the degenerative state, but by then it's like, wait a minute, you're way down the road, and that's when people come to us. Well, it'd be nicer to come to us in the acute stages because that's a given 100% cure rate. 100%. Chronic degenerative, 90-some maybe, but still, you know. So here's the problem. Get your kidneys fixed up, my friend. Get away from proteins big time. The medical suggested, I haven't heard that in a while, the medical suggested that such was not unusual and that there was nothing to worry about. Oh, yes, there's a lot to worry about. Disagree with that theory right there. Gonna lose your kidneys, bro. Got to fix that kidney. And the way to fix the kidney is move your lymph, even within the kidney structure. So you've got to work on the kidneys and the adrenals on top. Get on some herbs, clean yourself out, clean the bowels out, get the lesion out of the kidney. Not difficult. Good cholesterol is right on the mark. Bad cholesterol was too high, but not alarming. Okay, so why the cholesterol? If you've been watching these videos, you know what cholesterol is. If someone's going to say, well, my cholesterol is high, define cholesterol. Define what it is so I, as a simpleton, can understand what it is. So, cholesterol, antacid. Best way to define cholesterols or antacids, whether it's high-density lipids or low-density lipids. HDL, high, L, low. High, low-density lipids, just different forms of lipids. One is more cell wall-oriented, HDL. One is more adrenal steroid and lymph-oriented, which is LDL. Those are ones you see plaquing, so they're the bad ones. No, they're there to protect you. They're acids. So what's going on here? Here, easy, kidney failure, you're starting to lose kidney, you probably have lost kidney filtration for a lot of years, but now you're seeing the kidneys start to go, and other tissue going with it. And next will be the kidneys and the prostate. You've got to look at your prostate here, because if you have a lesion on the kidneys, I'd check my prostate PSA, because unless your testosterone is low, which would be weak adrenals, you run the risk of having high PSAs, meaning that the same lymph system that backed up in the gallbladder is going to back up in the prostate. It's already feeling the lower back from that. Going to margarine rather than butter. See, the medical profession is so out of touch. They have no clue. And for them to get into health thinking and health advice, I think that they're actually overstepping their bounds. And of course, if I was working with medical, I would be charged with practicing medicine without a license. So I think these people should be charged with practicing naturopathy without a license, if you want to play that game. I mean, if you're going to play a game like that, well, we're all going to play, right? That means what's good for the goose is good for the gander, right? Exactly. So what's good for us is good for the medical doctors and vice versa. So this is bull. You already know that about margarine. You're only a few. Margarine, lecithin, pasteurized milk, you're only a few molecules away from plastic on all these. So if you like to eat plastic, go ahead. Coconut oil was more even distress to him. Well, you're asking the wrong guy. You don't go to a plumber and ask him electrical questions. I've said this many times. Oh, man, am I out of time? Holy crap. Sorry. You don't go to plumbers and ask them air conditioner or electrical questions, and that's what's happening. If you go to a medical doctor and you ask him questions about health, and you accept that, then I don't know what to tell you. You're foolish, because you're going to the wrong experts. And you go to a medical doctor asking about herbs. I love that one. I just love that one. I've seen, excuse me. I asked him if I could take bile salts. You don't have to take bile salts. Get your. And here's another one. I'll skip on here really quick. Fatty liver. Why would you not expect that? Why would it be fatty? And what kind of fatty could we describe? Cholesterol. Why? Antacid. Why? Stone. Acidosis. coagulation, dehydration, all means the same thing. So this is what's real important here, man, is your lymph system's backed up the tree. Got to clean your bowels out. The liver's just a branch on the colon of the GI tract tree. So clean your liver. But to clean the liver, how are you going to do that? You got to go to where you have a lesion, right on the kidneys. You got to go to the kidneys first. They're the ones that open the door for the liver, the spleen, the pancreas, everything else, the head, everything else to filter out. So you got to go to where you're having the causative problem, and that's in the kidneys there. Fatty liver, that fatty liver will go away as long as you do what? As long as you move your lymphs. Remember our slogan on here? Move your lymphs. And that's exactly what you have to do, my friend. Because your body is way too acidic. Fatty liver, but it can be fatty everything. It can be fatty kidneys, fatty liver, fatty pancreas, fatty lungs, fatty heart. Absolutely. Because fats, lipids, are acids. Remember, this is what the body uses to fight acids. There has to be protection in your body. What kind of protection does your body have against acids? A legitimate, very important question. Well, what's the answer to that? What you see all the time in humans, cholesterol problems, calcium problems, and edema. Every single case. And that's all acidosis. Intracellular, no, hope not, interstitial fluids around the cell. Despite this, the liver was assessed to have good functionability. Well, we can wait and watch your fatty liver, but I can tell you what's going to happen. So I wouldn't sit there and wait and watch that. The last remark conclusively confirming that he was just a pill pusher, did not have the ability, dedication, intelligence, integrity to think outside the square. Well, that's a typical human. That's 50% of them voted for you-know-who. They can't think outside of the box. I mean, this is, and it's blatant in front of your face. Liars. We have a lying president, man. And someone that said, vote for revenge. I love that one. Forgive me. I'm sorry. I did. This just freaks. There's a lot of people upset in this country, it's needless to say, because of what just happened. And let me tell you, we're going to have one hell of 4 years now. This is serious. Thank God we have the Senate. Think outside the square. In other words, in very plain Australian, I like that one, I was not getting any intelligent responses, just regurgitated ones. I like your way you do it. A true prison planet as per Alex Jones. Absolutely. My questions now are these. Should I supplement my meals with bile salts? Hard to get in Aussie, but easy. No. No, get your lymph moving. Get your lymph moving. You can go on the liver gallbladder formula, but really the problem's in your kidneys, and get your kidneys going here, man. Check the urine for sediment. Really get that kidney filtering again. The adrenals control it. Get into your adrenal glands. Get into your colon. Clean up your colon. Remember, the GI tract, the whole GI tract, is just an extension of the brain, and the liver, gallbladder, pancreas, all this are just branches on the tree. Got to clean all that up. It'll pull the lymph and get that lymph moving. Fat will dissolve. Liver return back to normal. Everybody's good. Everybody goes home. Bladder gets strong. Kidneys get strong. You hold urine. Prostate gets good. Lower back repairs itself. Dry eyes go away. Can just keep on going down that road, because now you're addressing causative problems. You're not addressing some craziness like this man. But that's not his field, and I wouldn't expect him to know this. We're the ones demanding medical doctors to know. We're asking the wrong doctors. The reason is they've suppressed the public's awareness of naturopathy on purpose for years. Every state has definitely created rights violations, big time, because you've suppressed the rights. This is a mafia machine going on. Don't we have laws against that? I see the feds go after people when they're talking about corporations that get too big and stuff like that, or when there is mafia, or when there is conspiracy to fraud people, and that's what allopathy's been involved in. Conspiracy to fraud the American people. You can't tout this a health modality. This is a serious problem. So medical doctors need to stop, realize, well, am I going to be a surgeon and I'm going to work in the emergency room, or do I want to get into health? If I want to get into health, I can't go along medical thinking, because that's killing too many people. And it has nothing to do with health. It has everything to do with treating bogus symptoms or bogus concepts from symptomology. That's better said. Move your lymph, my friend. Any other suggestions? Ensure quantitative and not necessarily a quantitative? Yes, yes, yes. Skip those kidneys, my friend. Get your adrenals up, like I said, and move forward. And this is TON, Tone of Australia. And I took it all the way to lunch. Unfortunately, I have so many other things here. 27-year-old, just shy of 2 years, massive polyp removed from my sinuses. This is a good one. Massive polyp up in the sinuses. Where could that come from? Boy, I'm lucky I didn't have them. I tell you, I was raised on milk and used nose drops to breathe. I didn't know. Nobody told us. And the suffering that people have to go through. So, fix your bowels on this one too, dear. Who is this? This is Pamela. Fix your bowels, my dear, because this is this whole thing. Kidneys, adrenals, GI tract, all this lines right up here. And get that cleaned up. Get your scent. If you have to, candle your ears with 2 or 3 candles each ear. Start opening your doors. You know, clean this bowel, clean your kidneys. Get all these doors open to drain your sinuses. Let me see. Yeah, they grow in there. She also had a deviated septum, means that your septum's deviated. A lot of times you drain to the back of the throat, so you're getting a lot of sore throats, a lot of mucus back there. And so if you get your deviated septum, you can breathe through your nose properly. She had one. She had it fixed. But you're too smart to have a little twist to make it a little more challenging. I just found out that I am expecting my 3rd child. Oh, no. Let's see what she wants. But over the last year, I was beginning to have problems with my sinuses. Yeah, absolutely. Well, here's the thing. This is a little challenging because she's expecting her 3rd child. So go slow, but get on raw. Get on raw. Pump the superfood blend if you want really lots of nutrition, because you should increase that nutritional take, particularly the calcium. Make sure you don't have a parathyroid weakness, sweetheart, while you're carrying, or pump up your parathyroid with a glandular a little bit and start utilizing calcium. Your baby's structure will come out much stronger. So check and see where your weaknesses are. You can't hurt the baby by enhancing the function of cells. It is cleansing that we worry about, because if you have a weakened fetus, it's possible that the body will go, all right, go out until you can get a stronger one. That would be nature and that would be positive, but man doesn't understand crap like that. He says, oh my God. No, nature always has these laws, and we have to understand, realize the reason for these laws. And all man has to do is stop and take a look at the human race. And I mean, look at it, not from medical thinking. Just look at all the mutated babies. Look at all the cancer in the babies, the teenagers, the 20s, the 30s. Come on, the dialysis from the teenagers in the 20s. Lines are lining up for miles. We have serious health problems in the world. So it's not just about governments and their narcissistic control over others. This is about the health of the human race itself. And it's directly tied to our happiness and our joys. And it's time that man has his joy back and be happy and loving and not killing each other. Can you imagine living in the Middle East where they're always at war and blowing each other up? I'm going to sacrifice myself for God and blow up women and children. You guys have to get that thinking out of your head, because that is just bullcrap. That's from narcissistic, pseudo-spiritual people. You guys stop and start thinking on your own. You can't hurt people for God. That isn't God. God is about love and happiness and joy from the higher levels. From the lower levels, yeah, you could argue that. So, you go slow. You definitely pick up some glands here. You have to detox your sinuses to some degree. So you can do some herbs that are great. Stomach and bowels, kidneys will be great. The adrenals will be great. You can have minor detox and clean the sinuses out, absolutely. But keep yourself on raw fruits and vegetables. And I would have vegetables in my life there, or green drinks, so you're powering up your body, you're powering up the baby. At the same time, you want to clean out your bowels and everything else so you have great absorption, so you're building a major human in there. And you get your sinuses drained. It's the best you can do. I plan on breastfeeding for the last year afterwards. Well, then get your health. And this is what I'm saying to you moms. Try to take time before you conceive and get yourself healthy. Because, let me tell you, with the problems with our babies, it is hell on moms and dads right now. There's a lot of moms and dads with very sad faces and hellish lives because of their children and all these neural weaknesses and what all the neurotoxicities from the medical profession are doing to them. It's a nightmare. Got another little baby, just stops breathing. Just stops breathing. turns blue, stops breathing. You see this a lot nowadays, all over the place. The adrenals are so low that the autonomic is flat. So these are babies that can no way ever stand surgeries or more neurotoxicity from vaccines, things like that. And my guess is this little baby stopped breathing from vaccines. Sick. Not related, but I had a C-section with my first in July 08 and the natural November 09. Also, my husband and I am trying to eat more raw. Trying. But get that up, honey. Got baby growing in there. Fall off the wagon, but I did do a 21 juice fast of mainly greens, vegetables, some tomatoes, and apples this past August. It wasn't really a fast. You went on a good raw food diet for 21 days. I think I have candida. Oh, probably. We all do. I had some peeling feet, condition on the bottom of my feet, sinuses and eczema on my hands. Ooh, well, that's a little bit different story here. All right, so not only sinus. Now, remember when we say something is systemic, meaning it's all through you? Remember that? Good case to show you this, and you'll see it case after case. When you have a tumor or you have lymphatic problems in one place, guess what? You have it head to toe. And that's what your problem is, sweetheart. I don't know. You really need to clean up your body here, and your lymph system is going to be your baby's lymph system. I see that all the time here. So that's what you're going to run the risk of, is giving your baby a real backed up lymph system already. That's why the eczema on the hands, that's why the sinuses, the bottom of the feet is pilling. That's all acidosis. This is all acidosis, and this is a backed up lymph system. Well, this baby's going to have a backed up lymph system, sweetheart. So try, don't worry about the details. They're really important. But get your lymph system moving, even if you do it slowly with your raw fruits, berries, and melons, and some salads. Absolutely. And maybe slowly you can clean this out. You can go on kidney formulas, adrenal formulas, stomach and bowel formulas, and stuff like that without any harm. I was curious, what is the most effective way of getting lymph congestion out of the thyroid and sinuses? Well, here's another. Here's Mark and Tasha. Hello, guys. Love you. Curious what the most effective way of getting lymph congestion out of the thyroid and sinuses through the kidneys, colon, or lungs. Kidneys. Unless it oozes out the skin, you're always expiring out the lungs, but not to anything that is like the skin or kidneys, nothing like that. So really, the colon is really for digestive waste. It can be for lymphatics when you're pulling hard on it, no question. The body will scoot out that way a little bit too. So colon and kidneys, got to clean them both up. Essential to do that. That's the only way you can get sinus and thyroid problems is open up those doors. Remember, the problem is always in the kidneys and adrenals initially, but then if you go colon, kidneys, and adrenals, you're right at the core causative factor of everything else that resonates out of that field. That's like your core center of all problems, and it's from these proteins. Whether people like it or not, proteins damages colon and kidneys. Study after study after study for years verified that with colon cancer. It's kidneys that no one's looking at but us and a few others. Let me see here. That's because I have read you mentioned that congestion in the bowels affects the sinus and head. Absolutely. When the bowels are backed up lymphatically, you start backing up right up the head. Notice all the tumors on people now around the throat, the esophagus, voice box tumors. I mean, it's all over. The palate tumors. It's a nightmare. It's a friggin' nightmare out there lymphatically, guys, and we all have to wake up to that. And thank God for all you guys. All I can say is I don't regret 1 second putting this on YouTube. All you beautiful souls out there helping others. You can't put a price tag on that. You did so well, doing so well. You worked through these cases. I appreciate your questions. I only apologize that I can't get to more of you as I can. Keep trying to review these. Go to the Facebooks. Let the guys help you there. Yeah, one lady was in a health food store, made an appointment out in California, ran into someone there. He'd just come from my class, and she's saying, well, and he asked her, said, oh, you on a raw foodist? And she was buying some fruits and vegetables, and she said, yes, I work with a doctor in Florida. And they're talking about it, and it was Steve Factor. Steve Factor was in there. See, what a nice guy. And he helped this lady to find her remedy. So that's all cool stuff. I love that. And that's the beauty of each and every one of you, being a God man or woman, anywhere you walk. willing to help those suffering and in need. You can't ask for a better, joyful, and fulfilling life. Is to help others, and in helping others, you get. Because the only way you get is if you give. You've heard that before, but this is vital. When you give, the energy starts to flow through you. When you hold, it backs up in you. When you open your heart and you start giving, the energy flows. And that's the highest energy flow. And so those of you healers understand that when the heart is closed and it's a cancer case, they're going to pass, generally speaking. Unless you get that heart opened, generally these people are going to pass, going on to their next adventures to open and start opening up these heart channels. And you see a lot of people closed off here. There's so much lies and deceptions and deceits and all kinds of crap out there. People have closed off, people hurting others. So that's why it's important to become strong with self and then open your doors for God, not for other people or even for yourself. Lose the little self. I'm not here. I am a pure vehicle for the Creator. Don't have to put a name to it. I am a vehicle for spirit or the prana or the life force, whatever you wish to call it. Doesn't matter. I don't care if you're standing in Iran or you're standing in Washington, D.C. It isn't where you stand. It is what you identify with. It's how you move your creation with your mind and your emotions, your ego, all of this, no matter where you stand in creation, because there's a lot of planets that you can stand on, you know. Thyroid congestion, you got to detoxify the head area. And to detoxify the head area, detoxify the bowels, clean them up, get the kidneys going. Both hypo or hyper are related to the lung. What? No, hyper or hypo is not related to the lungs. This has me contemplating grabbing some herbal lung support. Well, I tell you what, though, the reason I'm talking about using lung formulas is because most of the herbs, and particularly like our 3-lung tea, those are 3 little herbs, mullein, pursley root, and fenugreek. All these herbs loosen up hardened sputum or mucus. And if you notice, as time goes on with you and the acids start backing up and backing up and backing up, things dehydrate and solidify. And so this is the problem, is some of this mucus just doesn't want to come out. Well, you have to help loosen it up. And that's what alkalizing does, but it's also what some herbs are good at too. So use those to help yourself open up. Also, there are any relation to thyroid issues and bananas. Also broccoli. I mean, you hear this crap constantly, but I've told you about this professor that I really like. 3 doctorates, studied the banana for who knows how many years, runs a university, nature's perfect food. You know, you can blame God for all our problems. We can blame nature, whatever you want to call it. You can blame bananas. I say blame your meats, your dairies, your grains, and your beans. My family told me that our iridologist mentioned that bananas either contribute or were a no-no for me as I have a goiter. Whew, I need a drink. Long Island iced tea, I hope. Nope. And here's an iridologist saying crap like that. If you have a goiter, what is a goiter? Tumor. I haven't seen a goiter yet I couldn't get out of a person. We got plenty of. Matter of fact, we have a nice acupuncturist that had a huge one, got rid of her. She was in the class a couple of times telling her story. Goiters are what? The lymph system. And remember, I've told you this before. Don't touch the thyroid with either a glandular or even with thyroid herbs. Get that lymph moving. Because anytime you pick up activity of cells, remember we talked about this, you pick up activity of cells, you're picking up cell waste. As you pick up cell waste, you know these are acids, be it lactic acid from muscle movement, going right on down the line, phosphoric, carbonic, it doesn't matter. You keep going, all these acids back up, and goiters can grow. So you take it easy and move those lymphs. And the goiter will go down, and carry it away. Clean your lymph nodes. Get your kidneys filtering. Get your adrenals up. Get your kidneys filtering. Clean the bowels. And I've never seen a goiter you couldn't get rid of. Not at all. And that'll correct the thyroid problem. If the thyroid is a little underactive, by the time you get that out, then you can build that up a little bit with either a glandular or just hit the thyroid with some healthy herbs. Or if it's a pituitary problem. But this also means that the whole head is probably involved lymphatically. And you must clean that out. Bananas and goiters. Did you know of any connection with these bananas? I can't find a thing. Thank you. There's some of these, and this is why I talk about integrity, knowing at least having some awareness of that. We've had 40 years, and even though I push simplicity, we've had 40 years of extreme intellectualism and digging into the body and trying to figure out the pathways and try to get away from theories that don't hold any viable facts in them, or at least have partial truths to them, but doesn't have the overview. You see that in biochemistry a great deal, and in chemistry, a lot of theories out there at a certain point. Observed reactions that doesn't take into consideration of other factors. You know, an observed reaction between bases and acids. But the conclusions are basically theories that just doesn't hold any water. What really holds water is taking one in a clinical setting, meaning in your office, and taking them from Hellville to Wellville. That is what's important. We prize ideas and thoughts and concepts and ideologies and things like that. It's all book rap. Those things is where the allopathy lives. If you hadn't noticed, last year, 1 million people got killed from them. It's interesting to see this year what the total is. But this is protected by states and the FDA in this country, right? So man has to really wake up, and a lot of you guys are, and thank God, because a lot of you have been hurt this way, and a lot of you are being hurt, and you need to get away from that. I'll read one more there. Oh, this is Mark Tasha again. You're a good guy. Thanks, guys. I was curious how to tell the difference between hypo and hyperthyroid for iridology when reading the eyes. This is a good question. I will tell you that I don't think you can. I don't think you can. I can say that it'd be better if you stated that you have a thyroid weakness or you have lymph toxicity in the thyroid gland, either one of the two. You either have cell weakness or you have a lymph toxicity factor, nodules, goiters, things like this. Those are the only two things you can have, because all the thyroid is a bunch of cells and blood and lymph. So you could have blood problems in the thyroid. That would generally be caused by lymph and hypertrophy or enlargement, swelling, shutting off vascular flows, maybe, or the reabsorption of waste from the venous system, not the waste that we know going lymphatically. As in what to look for to see if a person is hyper or hypothyroid. That you want to correlate clinically. It's not difficult. Hyper means fast heart rate. Since the thyroid controls heart rate, very seldom do you see a hyperthyroid person fat. A case in point is Mick from the Fleetwood Mac. If you'll notice in his earlier years, yes, they did a lot of coke, they did a lot of things, but hyperthyroidism. Look at the Marty Feldman eyes. Look at Mick. If you understand his story, they tore it up constantly in the studio. Then look at Mick now. Mick is a little bit bigger boy now, and that's hypo going into hyper. Hyperactivity of a gland or organ always goes to hypo. Why? Because what's causing hyperactivity? And I want you to realize that acidosis can initially create hyperactivity of an organ or a gland. It can also create spasticity, and then eventually it will always break down that tissue, creating hypofunctions. Always. That's just the birth, life, death syndrome. Acids just accelerate it. As they want to look for the since you're, oh yeah, and hypo of course is going to be cold. You're going to be cold hypothyroidism. If you start to see the connective tissue problems like the fingernails, the spider veins, the varicose veins, the petechia bruising easy, hemorrhoids, you can assume the parathyroid then right along with it. Remember the thyroid also though produces calcitonin. Calcitonin like in calcium. That and parathormone are essential in the utilization and the waxing and waning of calcium in the body. So having a good thyroid and parathyroid is essential for good structure, but also for self-happiness, because this is definitely the level of how you see yourself. This is your id and how you see yourself. And when that's low, you have very low self-esteem, and depression is one of the side effects of hypothyroidism. I wish the psychiatry and that whole field would get into understanding the glands and how to make them healthy, and treating with antidepressants and things like this that only sometimes exacerbate or people kill themselves on them. A health questionnaire would be good to determine that. A hyperthyroid is only going to produce heat, and they're going to be able to eat 5-6 meals a day and never lose weight. Hypo, on the other hand, thyroid also controls the rate of metabolism. Hence, if you have a hair analysis, they'll call it a fast or slow oxidizer. Fast meaning hyper, slow meaning hypo. And it all is involved in that process. Hypo also shuts down the ability, the colder you are, the less sweating that takes place, and the more you build up subcutaneously, right under the skin, lymphatically. So then you start having skin problems. From dryness to eczema to psoriasis, just name it. Doesn't matter. It's all sewage coming out the skin. Well, what's the first thing you're going to know then? Honey boo boo, you're going to know kidneys and adrenals. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Mark. That was the cute thing you did at the moonshine. Oh, right. Oh, she already responded to this one. Okay. This is a 54-year-old woman. Oh, I gotta go. Excuse me. It's attorney day. I gotta go meet with my attorney. We've got some very interesting things planned for the IRS here. They're gonna love this coming. I am a 54-year-old woman, and I've been at least 80% raw for the past 3 years, and because of your vids, I've increased my intake of fruit in the last 6 months. I've been taking Synthroid, which is synthetic T3, for the past 20 years. Yet my energy level is still so low, and I'm prone to depression. That's what we just talked about. See how this rolls together here? All my life I have perspired heavily through my face, head, and neck. Interesting, huh? I have entered menopause, and my hot flashes start at my cheekbones and spread upwards, causing my face to sweat even more profusely. Oh, wow. Additionally, my skin has always been grainy. It's not smooth, and that's lymph. That graininess, good. I'm glad you brought that and use that word, Kelly. Graininess, that's lymph. When you rub your hand over your skin, if it's not like a bare baby's bottom, that's lymph. That graininess is lymph. And it's coming out. Scrub your skin and get your kidneys working. Start moving all these wastes more to the two main kidneys and take all this pressure off the skin. Given the fact that you're probably backed up under the skin, take a picture of your eyes, look at the skin ring we talk about here, or the subcutaneous levels under the skin. If there's a thick lymph ring around there, then you know that you're backed up there. Your face is trying to eliminate for you, because this is the hard drive. I realize that I need to detox by improving my kidney function, but which of your formulas should I start off using, and what else could I add to remove on my diet to speed the process? Go on a tropical all-fruit diet, particularly grapes. Second of all, you want to use 2 kidney formulas, 1 capsule, 1 liquid. I would use 2 lymphatic formulas, 1 capsule, 1 liquid. I would also get into stomach and bowel, clean probably my bowels with the GI broom. I would go into some upper circ maybe some brain and nerve, but get in this Synthroid. You'd have to look more at your female issues, but if this is from the thyroid, the depression is the parathyroid. So if you're having problems, and Synthroid is only going to make your thyroid weaker. And I've said this before, I'm surprised medical doctors still use this technique because it's ridiculous. They don't use glandulars. It's been offered for 50 years now. It just shows you the extreme constipation in that level of thinking. I would use, since you're on a Synthroid and been on it for a long time, this is what I would do. I can't advise you about your Synthroid. That's a medical thing. But I can tell you, if it was me, I want my thyroid to work. I don't want it to start. I don't want to lose my thyroid. And since I'm not taking any calcitonin, or I'm not taking anything related to parathyroid, I'm going to be in serious trouble with my skeletal system and everything else because I'm on Synthroid. So, Get away from hormones, get away from steroids and neurotransmitters. I don't care if it's bioidentical or what. They can call it any name they want, and oh, I made this for you. Big deal. These are still hormones and steroids. They still will weaken the glands, and you'll still wake up in Hellville. No, 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 no. You want to make healthy that which is weak. Simple. So now you want to use the glandulars, or those who are in chronic or been on these type of hormones, synthetic or natural like Armour, you still want to go. Jensen made the mistake of thinking Armour would help the thyroid since it was a natural T4. Him and Marie had serious thyroid problems, especially Marie, and parathyroid, horrible. And so very serious. By using these supplements, you can get yourself in some serious hypofunctions. So use a glandular, use a thyroid glandular. At the same time, I would make sense. I would ask my medical doctor to help me come off of this, or if he was a butt, I would say, you know what, you don't understand anyway. I'll do it myself. I take full responsibility for myself. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pump my thyroid up with a glandular, the whole thyroid at the same time. I'm going to titrate her. I'm going to go off slowly. Since I've been on this a while, I'm going to go slowly off my thyroid. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take the thyroid glandular, and then I think I'll go every other day on my Synthroid or levothyroid or Armour. I'm going to go every other day, or half a pill instead of a whole pill, and just see how I do. If I feel a little tired or something, you know, then maybe I'll increase it, but I don't think I will. No, you won't. Now, here's an interesting thing here. She has been on Synthroid for 20 years, but she still has low energy. And this is the problem and the mistake not only medical doctors make, but a lot of people make. Quit blaming the thyroid for everything. Go to one gland that's more responsible for obesity, more responsible for chronic fatigue, and which one might that be? Big hint. Sits on top, one on top of each kidney. Adrenal glands, absolutely, that's your nervous system. Most of these chronic fatigues are neurochronic fatigues, not Epstein-Barr. These type of viruses are easy to detox out of the body. Easy. So you've got an adrenal down, sweetheart. The depression is parathyroid. I'd go right in, I'd take a parathyroid glandular at the same time my thyroid and pop that up if it was me. All my life I have prescribed. Additionally, my skin has always been good. Okay, thanks for the, thank you, Casey. Hope that helps you. This is from Mark again. Mark and Tasha. When you say if you can't get a healing crisis to hug a sick person, well, it's kind of my little underhanded joke, because if you're so worried about bacteria, okay, then go hug someone with maybe a strain your body is not overly familiar with, or that could cause an overgrowth in you, and then your body's going to come up and respond. What happens when your body starts to purge itself, and notice that people that get sick are in the process of purging and healing, because the body trips. It shuts down your energy. It shuts down the energy to walk, because why? You need to rest, because we need to take the energy that you use for walking and talking and everything. We need to take that energy and we need to move it to cleaning. We need to clean our kidneys. We need to clean our bowels. A lot of times we get sweaty. We get fevers that get sweaty. We start running at the nose. We get maybe a little diarrhea. What's going on? Purging. Blame bacteria till hell freezes over. And that's what happened to medical doctors. And now they're the #1 killers of humans because of that. If you actually looked at how many people die from the use of antibiotics, or the long-term death from the suppression that antibiotics did to them years earlier, you would gasp in shock. Look at Cipro by itself, a well-known killer of humans, yet the FDA considers it candy. Go ahead and pass it out in hospitals like candy. What's happened to man? For humans to get their God selves again, you got to stop creating karma. And these people are digging themselves karmatic holes that they'll be spinning in these lower levels for lifetimes. You want to stop that if you want to have any semblance of freedom and joy, and start plugging to the higher aspects of yourself. I wonder if I was able to get sick by catching someone else's cold, if that would help me purge that lymph. Well, catching is simply meaning that if there is a intermediary, like a bacterial or a viral or something that would cause your body to trip itself like it did the other person, that would be good, because when the body's purging itself aggressively like that, you can get a lot more done as months of detox with herbs and raw foods. So getting the body to get into purging is the key, actually, because it'll purge itself head to toe. It'll open up its own doors. That's its job. But it'll put you to bed doing it. Sit down and relax. Sick animals don't get up and run and play. They relax. They lap water, keep a little hydration going, and they ride the ride. And that, remember I talk about the lion that was bitten by the cobra. I mean, laid there, what, 3 or 4 days? Filmed by National Geographic, I think. Got up a 3rd, 4th, or 5th day and walked off from a cobra bite. Pretty cool stuff, nature is. So, let's see, someone else, cold, if that would help me purge that lymph that is causing my goiter. Oh, that'd be a big help. Oh, absolutely. Anytime you can purge and get lymph moving, your goiter's going to shrink. Anytime you back up your lymph, goiter's going to grow. Sorry, Mark. Just give me the word and I will spend all my extra time hugging sick people. No, but you understand what I'm saying. The problem is you start on these programs, you can walk through any epidemic and not have a problem one. That's a problem. It's about the terrain and culturing medium, as I call it, not the microbes. It's the terrain you're trying to clean out. It's your lymph system. It's your sewer system you're trying to clean out. Keep it simple and you'll have the keys to the heavens. Keep it complex and you'll have the door that locks you into hell. I have hypo/hyperthyroid. We talked about that just now. Thanks, guys. I'm going to have to run. Here's Mark again. I was curious, would taking something like a liver formula before you are filtering be just as beneficial as taking it after you get the kidneys filtered? Yeah, I know what you're saying, but I use the liver formula basically for strengthening the liver, not for cleaning it. I use the lymph to clean. I think a lot of the herbs for the liver, gallbladder are strengthening herbs. They actually get into the cells and strengthen the cells. My thinking is that if an area or organ isn't performing up to snuff in the first place due to the acids and lymph, got it right on, Mark and Tasha, right on, and hindering it, can taking herbs before you remove the cause via filtering be as beneficial? Well, yeah, because you're doing everything together. Everybody's working together as a team. Like when you're pulling rope, you have team members to help. What do you call that tug of war thing? So that's exactly what you want. You want the family involved. The family is nature. Bring in mom, pa, bring in the babies, the herbs, bring in all the help I can to help me move this body in a timely manner. But it is true that you're not going to truly get to a fatty liver or inflammation in the liver, acidosis, until you move lymph, and you have to clean up the colon to get there. But we do it all together, and it seems to work good that way. I just believe in working together like that. Mark, what's up, Doc? What's up, Mark? Miss September. Hi, Miss September. And yes, I am a guy. I got it. A real one. I have a spiritual question. A few months ago, I was doing a meditation that I got from Osho, where he says to just simply lie there as if you are dead. So I had done it for a few times and found it quite amazing. Well, that's the point. The more you can relax. My first out-of-body experience, I pulled up to the beach. I lived on the beach, and I pulled up to the main complex. And I was laying in my van. I turned it into a place to sleep and live. And I was laying in my van, and I was trying to have an out-of-body experience. Keyword, trying. I thought I was relaxing, but I was trying to relax. Didn't realize it. Till I finally got upset and just finally gave up and just kind of laid back to kind of take a little nap. I've been poop right out. And that's the point. the more you try, the less you're trapped, because you're trying with your other bodies. All you have to realize, it is a simple amount of me looking from here to you guys over to here. Except I go with me, my higher bodies, I leave this body and go on that journey. You aren't the body. I mean, you're only using this. So you can go anywhere, you can move your attention. And we just get used to it. You play with it like you would play learning anything else. You have to learn what should come natural. But it only comes natural when you're not full of propaganda and you haven't been polarized to these lower levels. But the more you're lost to creation, the better the drama, really, up to a point. And then you get tired of playing and you want to then start to become more of a vehicle and understanding higher levels and helping others to come with you. Although that one time I did it for an hour straight or so, I set my alarm on my cell phone so I would wake up since I had to go to work soon after. But for some reason my alarm didn't ring. I wonder why. As I quickly realized while meditating, so I quickly wake up and suddenly realized that there was a gap between me and my body. Oh, really? And that I thought I had to run towards my body first before moving. I know, sometimes when you try to get back in, you panic sometimes and then you're in. But that's the problem, is that you're trying to get in. And this is all about beingness, relaxation, flowing, consciousness, not thoughts. And that's the problem. You don't move by thought, move by images or attention. Let me see here. Moved toward my bathroom to do a few things, and as I go to grab something, I had a sudden rush of energy that I was just simply overwhelming, and I could just not stop laughing. And I felt an ass literally laughing. But at the same, I used to do that in church. I couldn't stop laughing at the minister. I felt shameful. I felt everything. I had to bite my fingers and my tongue to laugh. I didn't realize why. I felt like, oh my God, I'm disgraceful to God and everything else, until I realized that all that was being said is illusion, and that it is the trap of man instead of man's freedom. And so I realized religions were more man's doing than God's doing. And the only well worth religious or spiritual teaching is that which hooks you back to your source. That's the only thing that matters. And that breeds love, joy, humility, and the understanding that we're all from the same source, meaning we're all one, just with different bodies, different looks, which makes it all cool. Don't you think? Imagine going to a planet where everything literally looks the same. I think that would be disgusting. I had a sudden rush, Afterwards, I was on a cloud for like an hour or so now and scared to go into that meditation again, thinking I just might not come back. All right, Mark. That's why it's so important to work with the now and become solid in consciousness. Now, there's no definition of awareness or consciousness, or another word we could add is just intelligence. That awareness just is. It has all life in it. It has knowledge in it. It has all this in it. But it's not involved in creation and time frequencies and all this sort of thing. It all exists in the moment. That's what you're a part of, is that eternal, that allness of all, that consciousness. And so you can never get hurt from doing things like that. And keep in mind, Mark, you've got a bunch of us guys that have done this for years are all hanging around all of you guys helping you. Keep that in mind. And so with that, I love you all. And you take care of yourself. Watch your dreams. And keep traveling and understanding more of who you really are. That's fun. And that's the joy. And keep getting your bodies healthy. Even though you have to work through these things, I know it takes a lot of self-discipline, but realize you're wakening up. You're wakening up to some of the lower bowels of creation. And now you found your remedy both in health and to the God state. Love you all.